Game Day 1, the show, is brought to you by Veolia, the launch partner of Game Day 1, as well as White Plains Hospital. Hey everyone, welcome to our Game Day 1, the show, the Class AAA Baseball Championship Tournament special. AAA sounds weird to say, first year they're ever having AAA baseball, but here we are, and we have a clear favorite, we have some top contenders, and we'll get all into that right now. And to do so, I bring in my good friend, Eugene Rapay from loha.com, and no one covers baseball better. Eugene's done an amazing job this season. Thanks so much for joining us. And how did baseball season, I think this is season number 2 for you covering for Loha, is that right?
Yeah, this is the second season. I've grown to love the community. The coaches have been great, and thank you for having me aboard.
Awesome. We're very excited. We're starting off with I don't want to say the easy show, but you look at Class AAA, you look at the bracket. The brackets come out today. RCK Ketcham, defending state champions, the number 1 seed, the clear favorite. I don't want to say there's ever pressure on a team to repeat as state champions because that's just too lofty of a goal. Obviously, they reached it last year. But I think it's a little bit of championship or bust at the section level for RCK going to this bracket. Do you agree?
Yeah, the pressure is definitely on whether RCK is going to put it on itself or everyone else is going to put it on them for them. They just have that huge target on their back. They already know the deal whenever they walk onto the diamond, and I think at this point it's universally known that the pressure and the expectations are definitely high.
Looking to go for another championship. They go 17-3 in the regular season. Owen Pano, obviously a major league draft prospect. He was talked about maybe being in the first round. He's going to go pretty early in this draft coming up. He wants to win another section state championship. Riley Weatherwax pitched the best game of maybe his career this week. They were a team that early on, I don't know if they really kind of overwhelmed you so much, but I think they're playing their best baseball right now.
They're definitely trending in the right direction. And just the way that their roster is built, they have so much college committed talent that it was going to click sooner or later. And for them right now, at the point that they're at, going into the playoffs, you got to like the shape they're in.
They are. Very good shape. Now, obviously, the teams that are standing in their way. Who do you like as the top contender? Who's the team that had the best chance to knock off RCK in the Section 1 playoffs?
There are definitely a couple you can go with, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say Arlington at this point. Definitely, in my opinion, the top contender, top challenger to Ketcham. They already split the season series this year, and both games were super close, right down to the wire. I think that the first meeting was definitely a wake-up call for Ketcham. And even in the rematch the next day, I mean, even that one wasn't even a gimme. It was a battle the whole way through. They have just such a great, talented pitching staff right now. Last year, they had the heavy hitters like Eric Cervalon and Nick Hutro, but this year it's more of doing it by committee, but everyone else that they go to can really deliver for them on the mound. They have 4 players who currently have an ERA of 2.6 or less, which is super impressive. Joe Robato is definitely one of their key guys, but then looking at the position players, Eric Santaella, super speedy athletic guy at shortstop. Jason Jackson has been great at third base. Tim McCormack, and then even sophomores, which you look at Arlington, just how big of a school it is. You've got to be pretty good if you're cracking the starting lineup as a freshman or a sophomore. But to see Tristan Rivera contributing at the 3 spot and then Christian Anderson making a huge impact as a sophomore outfielder, they've definitely impressed so far. And with a 12-game winning streak going into the postseason, they're definitely a team to watch.
They are hot. I've talked to Coach Matt Novak a few times this season throughout the year, and I think he kind of enjoys where they are. Let everyone talk about RCK, and Arlington's going to try and swoop in there and win that championship. But the team that I like, I love what I've seen out of John Jay's Fishkill. Obviously, another Dutchess County team. Those 3 teams up there just battle all season long. John Jay's a team that, hit a little bit of they started hot, hit a little bit of a skid middle of the year, losing 6 out of 7. That one win they had was against RCK, a 1-0 win for them. So even when they were at their low, they were still good enough to beat anybody, and including the defending state champions. They've come back. They've won 3 games in a row to end the regular season. And I love what they did. So much about baseball is about momentum, right? So baseball, they're going into the postseason. They basically need to beat Yorktown in the final game of the regular season to guarantee the number 3 seed, which you want to have because you don't want to face RC Ketcham any earlier than you need to. So you get the number 3 seed. They go down 7-0 after 3 innings, and they come back and win that game 8-7. When you look at this team, Landon Sipe, Austin Sipe, Alex Gendris, Landon Stitchbury, obviously, Gibby Brady Feliciano, standout athlete any day of the week in that lineup. And, this John Jay team that I think they're also like Arlington in the sense that they kind of like where they are. Let everyone talk about Ketcham. All the pressure in the world is on Ketcham to repeat as section champions. So it is an interesting place for those three teams to be in, and they're 1, 2, 3 in the standings. Anybody else in this bracket do you think can make some noise?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Mamaroneck and Ossining. Just with Mamaroneck, they have a great roster. They've had a little bit of an up and down season, but they've had their moments. They beat Columbia from Section 2, who was the team that beat Panis in the state finals last year. They've beaten Suffern. They actually had Ketcham on the ropes very, very early on in the season before Ketcham caught a break and then ultimately rallied and won in extra innings. A loss that has definitely resonated with Mamaroneck ever since then. There's some great talent on that team between J.J. Grimes, Will Plunkett, Luke Regans. There's a lot of depth. I remember I covered a game, and I've never seen a high school baseball team, have like 37 guys on a roster. It was definitely impressive, and Chap always does a good job over there. But as for Ossining, to me, that's another sleeper pick over there. They had a much improved season coming in at 11-7-1 after finishing just 8-13 last year. Opposing coaches have described them to me as scrappy. Between Michael Levinson having a great year with his glove and his bat, a senior shortstop going to RPI, but they also have a couple of great sophomore pitchers that have delivered and stepped up for them between Owen Brennan and Chase Kaplan. And they finished the year winning 7 of their last 9. They also played Fox Lane tough in a rematch, and they also pushed John J.'s Fishkill very early on as well in a 3-2 loss. So those two teams, I would say, like you mentioned, those Dutchess teams are going to be tough to crack, but I wouldn't be surprised if those two do something.
And, my team, I know they're, obviously an 8 seed. They got to play Ketcham in the quarterfinals. They advance. North Rockland is a scary team for Ketcham to face early on. I mean, they're definitely better than their 11-8 record. They've lost a lot of one-run games. They've played pretty poor defensively in some of their games late in the season. If they could just tighten up things defensively, they have a chance to put a nice scare into Ketcham. The advantage for Ketcham, though, is that they're going to be coming off a bye in the first round. So Riley Weatherwax probably get to start, be on the mound in the opening round, full rest after what he did on Monday, throwing a no-hitter. So it's an interesting team, though. North Rockland, you don't want to face North Rockland that early in the playoffs. Who wins it, Eugene? Who do you like?
I'm going to go with Ketcham. I think that there's just something about them, especially last year when they lost to Clarkstown South in the postseason, and everyone was kind of trotting around doom and gloom and like, oh, this isn't the same Ketcham. They really embraced kind of the villainy role, I guess you could say. Like, they embraced the pressure. They embraced when people talk down about them. And I think when it comes to the postseason, they'll definitely find a way to band together and get it done.
Pat Mealy, as good as it comes as high school baseball coaches I've ever seen, maybe in any coach in any sport, he's been so good with his team. And the way, you're right, that villain role they played last year brought it all the way to a state championship, and they have a chance to do that again. I'll take Ketcham, obviously, also. The safe money on them. But if someone's going to beat them, I actually think it's going to be John Jay's Fishkill. So it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun. And Ketcham doesn't have the benefit of having the double elimination, which obviously helped them in years past. So single elimination, you got to go out there and win your games for the Class AAA championship. Eugene Rapay, thanks so much, man. Where can we find you? Obviously on Loha.com. What do you got coming up? Anything special on our baseball preview front?
Baseball preview front, we're going to have a spotlight on some of the pitchers and aces you don't want to face in the playoffs, as well as some teams to watch out for. So definitely keeping busy and ultimately counting down for the postseason.
You busy? I can't believe it. All right, Eugene, thanks so much, man. We'll talk soon.